Live from downtown Detroit, home of WDIV and Click on Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
3 weeks after the election, John James concedes to and congratulates Senator Gary Peters.
This is Night Cam reporter Tim Pamplin. What's more 2020 than these bizarre lights appearing over Canada? Night Cam investigates, and we get answers tonight.
All right, Tim, but first, Warren takes a giant step back on medical marijuana. That's off the top tonight at 11. The city council there voted down a proposal to settle a lawsuit over marijuana dispensaries, denying 28 licenses for pot shops that were set to open up on the city's south end.
Proponents argued it would bring with it much needed investment and hundreds of jobs. Jason Colthorpe at City Hall tonight, where the mayor isn't at all happy with the council's decision. Jason.
Oh no, Kimberly, because he's worried this could cost the city millions. Now, important to point out, this mess is not of this council's making. This goes back to last year when the previous council violated the Open Meetings Act when it selected which businesses would get those pot shop licenses. So tonight, this council had a choice: swallow what it thought was a bad deal but end the litigation, or scrap it, start over, and be completely transparent. It chose option B.
Several members of the previous city council were fed by greed and corruption and charted a course behind closed doors at the direction of the mayor and the legal advice of City Attorney Vinson.
Warren City Councilman Jonathan Lafferty didn't hold back on why he wanted council to vote down a settlement of a lawsuit that would immediately greenlight 28 licenses for medical marijuana provisional centers.
Their actions ensured that this council, the new council, would later be compelled into making a decision that would vindicate their deception and clear the way for Warren to become the marijuana capital of Michigan.
Those for settling the suit argue that instead of paying and fighting off future lawsuits, the city would start making money now.
We're basically sitting as a lame duck until we figure out how it's all going to shake down.
Businesses like Oz Cannabis, which is in the process of creating a cultivation facility in the Emerald Business District, would be part of revitalizing Warren's South End.
This is about a 3,000 square foot flower room.
Legal counsel and Mayor Jim Fouts pushed hard for council to approve this deal.
Yes to deny.
Yes to deny.
Yes to deny.
But in the end, the majority felt it was just a bridge too far, voting to deny it 5-2.
This is not a settlement. This is an economic time bomb.
Couple things to watch for as this now moves forward. One will be council will try and get that number of 28 licenses down to closer to 20, but that could be difficult because, as a medical marijuana lawyer told me tonight, many owners, like the one you saw in that package, have invested a lot of time and money. They might not be able to do that. They'll also try and space these businesses out so they're not right on top of one another along Groesbeck and DeQuinder. But again, Warren ordinances could also make that difficult. Back to you.
Well, Jason, we expect this vote now is going to spur more legal action against the city?
Yeah, this could really be a mess now, Devin, because that lawsuit had 31 parties to it. They can all move forward with their litigation against the city. And as that attorney warned me, that any or all could win that. That's money the city is on the hook for now. The citizens of Warren, and he warns this could get to be tens of millions of dollars. Devin.
All right, Jason.
Well, we are getting that wintry mix Ben said was coming, but it seems like more rain than snow.
Let's see where things stand at this hour. Ben?
Meteorologist Kim is right. We are getting more rain because the temperatures are warmer than when we were talking to you at 6. We're in the 40s in some spots right now, and we may get even warmer overnight. Here's Storm Tracker 4, and it is all green except for just up there in the tip of the thumb. And this is what we're going to see going forward. Scattered light showers through the overnight and probably through at least the first part of tomorrow. Will be more dry spots than wet for a lot of us, but in the afternoon, that all changes. You can see that next push of persistent rain starts to move in the second half of the day. Current temperatures 41 right now at Metro. There are some 30s out there, especially in the north zone, but a lot of us milder than we were at 6 o'clock. And those numbers when we wake up tomorrow morning, 43 on our way to 48. And we may even see warmer temperatures in the evening That trend continues for Thanksgiving, but we will talk about a dry weekend and a potential big question mark next week for snow. All that coming up in a few minutes, guys.
All right, Ben. Well, after a long fought and bruising Senate race tonight, John James has conceded and is offering his congratulations to Senator Gary Peters.
Our Mara McDonald is live downtown tonight. Mara, in a sign of the times, it was done via video and posted on social media.
It sure was, Kimberly, on Twitter. And, you know, it's interesting because an attorney for the James campaign yesterday at the Board of State Canvassers had suggested that the board hold off on certifying these election results. That didn't happen. And tonight, there's a concession. It was one of the most hotly contested Senate races in the country. The matchup between longtime Michigan Politico Gary Peters, who was coming off his first term as a U.S. Senator, and Iraq War vet and Detroit businessman John James. The two campaigns were engaged in an all-out battle on TV for supremacy, something James has a few things to say about tonight in his online concession speech.
Well, Thanksgiving's in 2 days, and one thing I know we can all be thankful for is the election's behind us. We can finally watch a football game or listen to music without being bombarded by political ads.
He then goes on to say his campaign has given away $1 million to charity. But then, the concession.
The reason we're here. The results of the election were certified yesterday, and I'm happy that the Board of Canvassers, led by Norm Schenkel, asked the legislature to take a top-down review of election law. But it's too late for me. So while I look forward to participating in efforts to secure franchise and integrity of our elections in the near future, today, I believe it's the right thing to do for me to congratulate Senator Peters.
Back here live, James goes on to say that he will be sending Senator Peters a bottle of Johnny Walker Blue. Apparently, the two of them shared a drink a couple years ago at a Pistons game, and he thinks it's only fitting. We're live downtown tonight. I'm Mara McDonald. Back to you.
Okay, Mara. Well, meanwhile, Michigan Senate Majority Leader Mike Shirkey is revealing more about last week's controversial meeting at the White House where he and House Speaker Lee Chatfield met with the president. Shirkey tells the Associated Press President Trump did not request he and Chatfield try to stop the certification of Michigan's election results. Shirkey saying, quote, "I can't be more emphatic. There was never a request. There was never an ask." He goes on to say, once Speaker Chatfield and I made it abundantly clear that our laws are very specific, very clear, no room for ambiguity. Basically, that was the end of the conversation as it relates to the election. Shirkey went on to say he would have accepted the invitation to the White House no matter who was president.
State Health Department today reporting 6,290 new cases of COVID-19 since Monday's report, and sadly, another 145 Michiganders dead from the virus. Ford Motor Company making preparations for a possible coronavirus vaccine. The automaker says it's purchased 12 freezers so that it can store and give those vaccines to its employees who want one. General Motors has not purchased any freezers yet, but says it is taking steps to make the vaccine available to its employees.
Well, you've heard of the Northern Lights, but now let us introduce you to Detroit's very own Southern Lights, sometimes purple, other times orange, and it recently caught the attention of our eagle-eyed night cam. He went to investigate and joins us from the riverfront. Tim.
Windsor looking as magnificent as ever across the Detroit River, but as you pan left past Casino Windsor, it looks like an eternal sunset. What is that? It can't be the sun, that's looking south. It's not the moon. No, the moon's up here somewhere. There's the moon. And like I say, the sun sets in the west. We did some digging tonight. Found out exactly what's going on. Right over there. Tonight, the purple haze was strong in Leamington. Other nights, it's more of an orange glow. Regardless of the shade, it's terribly bright.
It's very bright.
The lights from her community visible 40 miles away in downtown Detroit. High atop, the Penobscot building looks like two mushroom clouds. And at the base of all that light are thousands of acres of greenhouses, with the emphasis on green.
Are you kidding me? Oh, no way. What? Are you serious?
It's peppers as well, and cannabis obviously has an effect because we are basically the greenhouse cannabis capital.
The night sky adrift with a kaleidoscope of colors. Greenhouse horticulture in Leamington is big business, their #1 business. And now all this light pollution is pitting the community against those greenhouse operators.
It has become a public nuisance.
The city leaders now having no choice but to draft legislation to stop the farmers from lighting up the night sky. Along the Detroit River this evening with a night camp, Tim Pamplin, Local 4.
Is that not something that makes you go,
no idea.
Wild, isn't it? Yeah. What a story, Tim.
Great. Yeah, great story.
Well, is America listening to its public health experts when it comes to Thanksgiving gatherings? We've got some new data.
Plus, a woman trapped inside a van that's filling with water and no one can open the door. Find out what police had to do to save a life.
They're the toys parents want during the pandemic.
You don't have them, get them. And if you already have them, get more of them.
Parents and a toy expert sharing their must-haves to stay home, stay safe, and play together.
And it's just fun. And the kids get really to imagine.
And making sure that we are able to get our eyes off the screen.
My Help Me Hank virtual toy test coming up new tonight.